Hey everyone, Nebraskan Gunner here. I did just a fun little experiment on Twitter today, and I wanted to explain why I did it and how you can reframe your thinking to, get the best out of situations and out of opportunities. So the question was, it was basically you have two options. Option A, you get $100,000 cash right now. You cannot invest it because I knew the number one answer would be, oh yeah, give me the $100,000, I'll buy Bitcoin and I'll be rich. Okay. And then option B was you get offered a course that will require you to spend 70 hours a week studying a skill over the next year, but you're guaranteed a $100,000 minimum salary afterwards. So which one and why? So at first, I just want to address these types of answers from people that are, probably just narcissists. Empty promises, you give me nothing. Well, terrible way to think about most things or anything. I don't really care if I've never actually physically given him anything or whatever. Doesn't hurt my feelings, but I do put out free content a lot, so I have given this guy something if he's been following me. So I just don't like that way of thinking, and I'm trying to, help you guys think differently. So I figured I would point that out real quick. So for this guy, I just want to say, yes, I give you free content all the time, but I have also done giveaways and other things online. So terrible way of looking at things. But anyway, moving on. So then a lot of people, this is kind of the most common thing I got was you did not say if the 100K salary was monthly or yearly, passive income, blah, 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 9 to 5, which changes everything on the decision. Well, this is my answer. It's all interpretation. You can interpret it how you like. That's where your imagination and ambition can take over. Don't ask the unknowns of a hypothetical situation. Make the unknowns work in your favor, and that's how you succeed. So this is kind of a big thing that I do is I just don't tend to ask questions of unknowns or intangible scenarios, right? So if you're reading a book, right, and you've got, I don't know, just a hypothetical situation, you're reading a book and it ends where you don't know if Susie's sister is alive or dead, right? You don't know what happened to her. So you'll have the narcissistic people saying, oh, well, she probably died and she's dead. And you'll have the optimistic people saying, oh, I'm sure she lived happily ever after. And, those people put those stories in their mind to make themselves feel better about the situation, to gear towards their personalities or their mindset and their thinking, right? Well, for me personally, I don't even care because I know that whatever the author wrote in the book is what's happening and what the story is, and then after that there's no story. So nothing happens to the sister after that story. Whatever's listed in that story is what happened to the sister. Anything else is all up for your interpretation, and maybe the author wants you to leave that up to your interpretation, okay? And even if you ask the author what happens, they could not tell you. They could tell you what they think they wanted to happen or whatever, but they couldn't tell you because it's intangible. It's nothing happened. It's all for your imagination, and the way you think in life is probably going to be the way that you think it ended. Okay. Now, me personally, I would probably try to find things like, oh well, her sister was in this place for 7 days without water, so she's dead. Okay, so I would find things like that to rationalize my thinking, or she was gone for a month, and I don't know if she would have had food, and you can't live longer than that with no food, or I would try to find reasons why she did or didn't survive out of situation. But otherwise, there's if you don't have any information to make that case, then you just don't have the information, so therefore you can't draw conclusions, okay? So for my original question, you cannot draw any conclusions, but you can make up your own conclusions, okay? You can say, the optimistic person could say, sweet, $100,000 minimum salary, perfect, that, whatever, $100,000 minimum salary, and I don't have to work at all. This is going to be 70 hours a week to learn something and how to advertise. And then these people are just going to tattoo the word pizza on my arm, and I can make $100,000 minimum salary for a year just for having the word pizza on my arm right here, right? As advertisement. And the bigger I get it, the more money I'm going to make. So if I do it twice the size of the whole arm, I'm going to get $200,000 a year. Okay. You could totally, and that's kind of like a dumb interpretation of it, okay? For lack of a better word. But you can literally take it and make it what you want to be, right? So somebody who's more sarcastic and joking and likes to, make up crazy stories like that might that might have been their answer, right? But anyway, that's literally what you can make it. So there's nothing to infer here, and my point is I want you guys to reframe your thinking to what this could be, right? So when you apply for a job, you should be thinking what this could be, what I could get out of this. So a lot of the questions I got, one of them was option B, but I need more details about the job after the year of study, because if I keep working 70 hours a week with a poor quality of life, I'll take option A. So obviously, yes, if this was a real life scenario, you would ask more questions, right? But for this scenario, there's no real life. It's just, this is the only information you have right now is you get offered a course that will require you to spend 70 hours a week studying a skill over the next year, but you're guaranteed $100,000 minimum salary after. So at that point, this is a no-brainer yes for me, because I could take this and put a million different spins on it, but to increase my salary this way. So let's look at some other answers I had. Option A, but I'd closely have to evaluate my current salary ceiling versus the option B ceiling. So again, why are we thinking about a ceiling right now, right? We've got a floor established. There is a established tangible floor of $100,000 a year salary. That's more than, for 70 hours a week. And we're assuming this is a free course because it says it's offered. So that's more than, teachers make. That's more than, nurses make, financial advisors. That's a lot of money, right? Most people are not making $100,000 in annual salary with one job, let alone multiple jobs, right? Because again, I didn't say this had to be your only job. I didn't say it had to be your only income. And I think that's kind of a misconception that we get a lot, is people grow up and they say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you say, oh, I want to be a doctor. So then they go, oh, okay, cool. You'll make $250,000 a year or whatever. You'll make $250,000 a year and you'll be happy, and that's be your only job, right? For me, I think, for me, it was always, okay, I want to be let's say, if somebody asked me, I could say, okay, I want to be a doctor. And then I would say, but on the side, so I want to be a doctor and I'll make $230,000 salary annually or whatever. And then, but I also want to be like a circus clown on the side, and I'm going to make $20,000 a year salary. Okay. So I think of these as like multiple jobs I can add to, right? There's always something you can add to, whether it's an investment, property. There's just always opportunities out there for us. We just have to find them. Okay. So let's see what the next one is. So don't think of a ceiling, though, you guys. There is tangible ceilings on some jobs, and you have to be aware of that too. So if you have, and when you're looking for jobs out there in your profession, you should be thinking about which one has a higher ceiling, right? Because if one of them is capped, right, when you get there and that's the highest you can get there. There's nowhere for you to move up. If you're okay with that, then that's totally fine. Some people are perfectly happy being a teacher, making $35,000 a year salary, and they have summers off. They work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. They have nights and weekends off. Perfect. They can live comfortably on that. They just they have to budget, but they can live perfectly happy on that. Live a normal life. And some people are totally fine with that, and some people won't go back and get extra, certificates or go get their masters or whatever. They don't ever try to be move up to like a counselor, and I don't know if counselors make more money, but again, or the vice principal or the principal or whatever, and they're just perfectly happy where they're at, and that's totally fine. Not everyone is, has this go-getter mindset to where they want to move up and advance and advance and advance. But for those of us that do, and those of you that are trying, this is how we can reframe our minds to think of the optimistic side and think of where we can take this. All right. So, if you're, that's what I had to make a decision earlier this year. Is my ceiling higher with crypto, or was it higher at my other job? And I had decided that spending more time on crypto, since I'm making more money in crypto already, that it was more worth my time to spend in crypto than to spend, in my other venture. And if I'm unable to give 100% to a venture, then I have to find ways to either, get that off my plate somehow to where maybe I can put someone else in charge, or maybe just have to drop it all together. Okay, because I'm one of those people. I feel like I have to give 100% wherever I'm at. And if I can't, then I need to move on, because it's not fair to that business or that company. So, so think about your ceiling though. So if you're applying, let's say you're applying for a manager job at whatever building A. So you got building A and building B, and you're applying for a manager job at building A. Okay, and your ceiling would be, let's say they have a new manager in the spot above you, so you're getting hired for like the manager, and then there's like a CEO above you or a GM above you or whatever. So the GM above you just got hired 3 years ago. They're 33 years old. Okay. Then you apply at building B, and their general manager has been working there for 35 years, and he's 65 years old, and he's going to retire in a year or two. Okay. If you have ambitious goals to always want to move up, where's your best opportunity at this point to move up to the general manager role? Okay. Building A, this guy's 33 years old. Building B, this guy is 65 years old. He's been working there for 30 years. He's ready to retire soon. So I've actually been in that position before where I interviewed for a job, and the manager was like, yeah, I'm leaving soon. I'll be here another year or two. And I told her in the interview, I was like, all right, well, I'll just take your job then when you leave. And then I basically ended up doing that, except for I went to a different place and held the same role over there, just somewhere else. So yeah, I was like, well, this is a great opportunity for me to increase my status and improve my career and progress in my career. So it was a no-brainer for me, right? So before I even had the job in a role below that, I was already thinking about getting that job in the role above it. So that's just how I think. I'm just a go-getter. I'm always thinking, how can I make more of this? How can I squeeze more out of this? And if you're always thinking in the glass half empty mindset, you're not going to be thinking of these things, all right? You're going to be thinking, oh, well, this manager's leaving, and there's another person that really wants it, and they've worked here for 5 years, and this and that. It's like, who cares? Okay, you can't control what other people are doing. You can only control what you're doing. And if you go in and you say, this is what I want, and you carry it out, then you're never going to be disappointed in yourself. But if you sit back and you watch and you let it happen and let other people take those jobs and be that go-getter in front of you, then you're going to spend a lot of your life on the sidelines watching and wishing you were there instead of just making yourself get there, okay? So this was just kind of like a fun experiment. So my answer, we'll go through my answer real quick. So my answer was, again, most answers were A, I want the money, or A, I have money, okay? So a lot of people I already have money, I don't need more money, that's fine. People like me, I'm just like, I just want to keep building. I'm not Jeff Bezos, okay? If I was Jeff Bezos, I don't know what I'd be doing, but I'm not retired yet. I still am working to an extent, so yeah, I wouldn't just take the 100K, okay? And then the B is obviously teach a man to fish. You've all heard that saying a million times. So what I got out of this, many are complacent. Again, totally fine to be complacent. That's not my style. For those of you that it's not your style either, and you're trying to get out of that complacency and you don't know where to go, I'm hoping this video helps a little bit. And then I also took out that there are a few outside the box thinkers. Very few people took this and ran with it, okay? If anyone, really. Very few people said anything at all other than ask questions, all right? So my answer was, I can add this skill with a guaranteed extra 100K income and then look to monetize it and make it passive income. Why not? I don't know what it is. Nobody told me what it is. So I'm assuming that I can make it passive, or that I could maybe hire somebody out, okay, to take over part of it. And maybe two people go through this course together, right? Let's say there's two people that go through this course together, and one person is making 100K minimum base salary and they're working 40 hours a week, and the other person has figured out a way to make 200K doing the same thing and only working 18 hours a week or 15 hours a week, okay? So that's what I always feel like I can do. I always feel like I can find ways to improve things, to make them better, to, kind of be my own, make it my own, okay? And if you're finding things like that and you're always thinking about things like that, you're going to come across opportunities in the future that are better and sorry, my phone was going off, that are better, and I really apologize, I lost my train of thought. You're going to find better opportunities, you're going to make opportunities for yourself is kind of the biggest thing. Just right here with this, I can add a skill with a guaranteed 100K income and look to monetize and make a passive income. I've added a skill, I've added an opportunity, okay? Maybe and again, I don't know what it is, but maybe I don't even work at all. Like I said with the pizza thing, maybe I just get a tattoo on my arm and I'm making 100K income doing nothing. Okay, maybe this person, I don't know. Maybe I only need to work 5 hours a week on this. Okay, so it's all up for your interpretation, and that's what I really wanted you guys to think about it. Um, so I know a couple questions I had was your answer is a big inference from your original post. My answer is not an inference. I'm literally just saying like this is the mentality I have and the mentality that I feel like everyone should have when that everyone that strives to obtain goals like this. Okay. So if I read something as a 100K salary, to me that implies basically a full-time career, not something you can monetize as a passive income. And as I talked about earlier, that's kind of the stigma, the generalization is you have a career, you have a salary, boom, that you can only have your career, you can only have one salary. And I'm obviously the furthest away from that generalization. Okay. And then somebody else said, right, you said salary, not extra. Okay. So for me, again, every single job I have or every, company I work with or every stream of income I have is a different salary. So if I don't group that all as one big salary, yearly salary. I group that as my salary from this and my salary from this and my salary from this. And that's just how I look at it. Okay. So don't generalize it to one salary. Generalize it into I'm making this here and I'm making this here. And if you want to have like your main, like your real job and then your side jobs, that's fine. That's a perfectly normal way to characterize it. But I'm always willing to add another salary. Somebody comes and offers me 100K salary next year, I would probably, what do I have to do? And then if it makes sense for me, then I'll do it. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. I mean, I think that's pretty much the gist of it. There was one really good comment I liked about what Karush had said. Let's see if I can find that one real quick. Somebody quoted Karush in here. Again, option B, the compounding effect. I talked about that. It's compounding, right? I mean, unless you're Jeff Bezos, more money is more money, and you can compound on it, and you can pay off your debt. Maybe you can plan for the next 20 years and have money set aside because who knows? Maybe this opportunity isn't going to come around. Maybe you're making $100,000, and that's another thing that I really think people should think about too, and that you should think about and plan for is, okay, a lot of people said, no, I have money now. I just want the money. So I have money now, but I just want the money. Okay, well, if you have, let's say you have 6 figures in your bank account, you have $100,000, and you get hurt really bad, you lose your job, you're in the hospital for 2 months. That $100,000 is not going to pay a 2-month hospital bill, right? Depending on like if you're in the ICU or something. So that's things you have to think about. Unless I can totally guarantee with what I have in my bank account right now that I could just completely retire and not have to worry about hospitals, losing whatever job if I had one, like side jobs or anything, my kids going to college, anything like that. If I have to worry about that right now because I don't have, Jeff Bezos money or you don't need that much money. But anyway, if I don't have enough money for things like that, then I'm always looking to get more money just in case there's something would happen to me or my family. I just want to be covered, right? So just in general rule, you should have 6 months of bills covered in your savings account. Like just 6 months of bills in case anything were to happen, you get hurt, lose your job, whatever. You should always want to have 6 months of bills covered in your savings account that's untouched funds, or at least that's my personal rule. Okay. So that's one way. That's how I think about it. Is yeah, sure, you're comfortable now, but if something happens to you, you may not be comfortable, and you may have wished you took that 100K salary for the next 5 years rather than taking the 100K up front because now you had to spend all that 100K on a hospital bill, and you had to, you declare bankruptcy because you couldn't afford your rent anymore or something. So you just never know. Complacency can put you in vulnerable situations at times. Whereas being a go-getter, being an optimist, being a forward thinker, a planner, planning these situations can get you out of those binds, right? So, but anyway, so here's the tweet that I want to read. It's because Karush had quoted, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. So just having that extra knowledge will help you gain more skills in life and help you progress in life, I never hesitate to ask people questions that are more successful than me and even less successful than me. Anybody that's successful in anything, right? I don't care about your bank account or whatever. If you're more successful than me in something, I'm going to ask you a question. Whether you're more successful than me in life and you've got, this mansion and all these houses and blah, 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 which are, materialistic things that don't necessarily matter to me. But whether you're more successful in, making money, or whether you're more successful at playing the guitar, if you're more successful at doing backflips, okay, I don't know, I'm making stuff up now. If you're more successful at fishing, just if you're better at me than something, I want to know what you do to make yourself better at it so I can learn from you. If you're better at money management, at budgeting, at saving your money, at trading, at investing, anything. If you're better at getting engagement on your Twitter tweets or something, like anything like that, if you're better at me than something, I want to learn from you, okay? Because I don't care if I'm better than you. I just want to be the best I can be. And if I don't have this extra knowledge, I'm not getting any better. So I'm always trying to learn, trying to always gain knowledge from others. So you should do that too, okay? Because you never know when you're going to be talking with somebody and they're going to say one little thing. Somebody might talk for 2 hours to you and give you some really good tips and advice, and they give you 30 seconds through that, they say something and it just clicks in your brain. And if you weren't paying attention for that 30 seconds, you would have missed it. But whatever they said in that 30 seconds just hit a switch, missing puzzle piece, and you just skyrocketed your career. Okay, I've had that happen before, where I had a conversation with somebody, and I'm so glad I did, because my success skyrocketed from there at some things that would not have otherwise if I had not had that conversation with this person. So always try to learn from people. There's always people that have different experiences as you, found different ways to do the same thing as you that might be more effective or might come in handy when the old way you've been doing it doesn't work anymore, okay? So yeah, that's really all I've got. I had fun with this experiment to see, kind of the answers, and I really wanted to explain it more so you guys could understand why I did it and have like an action and a cause, and help you guys try to reframe your thinking a little bit into being that go-getter and that optimistic person and thinking that you can achieve anything you want. And the biggest thing I do is I set goals for myself, and so I've never really set a goal that I haven't achieved. And so that can be really rewarding and really, once you hit one goal, then you hit another, and you hit another, and you hit another, and then you think of a goal that you want to achieve, and next thing you know, you're achieving it, because you just never give yourself that mindset of, I'm not going to achieve this. And sure, if I make 10 goals and I don't achieve my 11th goal, I'm not going to be upset at myself, but I'm going to figure out what I did wrong to not achieve that goal, where I went wrong, what I could have done better, how can I still achieve that, or how can I find, something reasonably achievable, or reasonably equal, or that I feel like I would still find success out of this. So I really hope you guys like the video. Please subscribe, share it on Twitter, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed all of this, and I will catch you guys later.